Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be Jund League number 38. Doing something a little bit different. I'm bringing back my favorite card of all time, Dark Confidant. I'm going to be playing 3 of it today. I think Dark Confidant is particularly well positioned when a few things are happening. First, it's pretty great when the number of decks that don't necessarily care about your life total are popular. For example, things that kill with a combo, or if they kill you, they kill you by a lot. An example of a deck that if it kills you by a lot, it would be something like Amulet Titan or Titan Shift, where usually you'll be at 12 plus life, and then all of a sudden you're at negative 30. And then combo decks, obviously stuff like Ad Nauseam, where your life total really doesn't matter; they're just going to kill you in one hit. And then the other time when I think Bob is good is when the predominant aggro decks in the format aren't using lots of removal spells like Lava Dart. Unfortunately, the second condition isn't really true. The aggro decks that exist right now are using Lava Dart. Rakdos Shadow, the predominant one. But Dark Confidant is going to shine in lots of the mid-range matchups that seek to otherwise control the aggro decks. So like we play against the Jund Mirror, we expect Dark Confidant to be very good, barring opponents having a Renin 6. And if we also play against various Shadow strategies, we also expect Dark Confidant to be very good. Basically, any time I expect to be playing versus combo, big mana, or a mid-range mirror, I expect Dark Confidant to be one of the better cards. And during the usual metagame breakdown that I do before the league, I'll do a quick run through of what we expect to see, where we expect to see the Dark Confidant being good. What's up, Chaos? What's up, Ian? So the other main difference that I'm doing right now is I'm playing one copy of Abrupt Decay to split with my Terminate. In the past, I've double Terminate, but I've had a few suggestions to try back out the Abrupt Decay, so I figured, hey, what the hell? I'll just throw another one in there. So I changed the split there, and then I changed my 15th sideboard card. I'm now playing an Anger of the Gods. To make room for the Dark Confidants, I had to make cuts somewhere. I didn't want to cut the Tarmogoyfs. I didn't want to cut the Renin 6s. I didn't want to cut the Lilianas. So I cut one copy of Bloodbraid. And what else did I cut? I cut my single copy of Tireless Tracker, and I cut 24th Land. I cut 24th Land because between the 23 lands that we've got and the 3 Bobs and the 3 Renin 6s, I'm hoping to be able to pretty consistently hit my third and fourth lands anyway. In the fail rate that doesn't happen, I did trim on my top end. And while Bloodbraid is one of the better reasons to be playing Jund, Dark Confidant plays a similar role in that it's a source of card advantage that's good against all of their various Uro piles. And Dark Confidant, even versus combo, in a lot of cases better than the Bloodbraid, because Dark Confidant, while coming down at 2 mana, is an early threat in addition to helping you find cards that matter like Inquisition and Thoughtseize and whatever sideboard card you need. Yeah, three Bobs is pretty sweet. I guess while we're here, I want to highlight a list that I took down a Star City Games regionals with. It's very similar to this list. Where did I put it? There we go. So this is a pretty similar list to what I had done before. This is when Uro and Kroxa had first burst onto the scene. Modern Horizons was already a thing. People already knew Renin 6 was great. But there was a Star City Regionals coming up, and I wanted to seriously do well at this event. I looked at the meta, and there wasn't a whole lot of aggro that cared about your life total. There was lots of big mana, lots of Uro, lots of otherwise mid-range and combo decks. So I played 4 Dark Confidant and 0 Renin 6, full knowing that Renin 6 was one of the best cards ever printed, and I ended up winning the whole thing in a 100-plus person tournament. So the meta call was great. I think I've got a pretty good grasp of when Dark Confidant is good. I think on a scale of 0 to 10, Dark Confidant's probably about a 6 or a 7 right now, in my opinion. But I'm going to obviously test it in the league, i.e. here, and see if I'm right. So where's the stupid deck? All right, here we go. So this is what I'm working with currently. So let's just, I guess, metagame breakdown, right? I have to do that. Sorry, I almost forgot. So we've got Uro piles. We really want to see Dark Confidant here. Obviously, we don't want to be playing the 1-for-1 game most of the time with decks that have 2-for-1s left and right. Uro, just like the absolute prime example of the deck that we really don't want to be playing the 1-for-1 game against. But Dark Confidant makes that trading game at least a little bit more worth it. If we can get plus 4 or 5 cards off of a Bob, which we often will, barring a Path to Exile, playing the 1-for-1 game doesn't actually feel like the 1-for-1 game, because while you're emptying your hand with unprofitable trades, at least you've got the card advantage to back it up. We want to see the Dark Confidant versus Rakdos Shadow. We're going to need to draw extra removal, and having threats of our own is really important, but obviously this is one of the decks that's playing Lava Dart, so it's kind of a liability. But in the games where it does get going, I expect it to be very strong. We love to see it versus humans, in addition to being just another creature to diversify threats. It lets us find our extra disruption to kill other creatures. We love it against Blue-White Control. Again, just another deck that their only good removal is Path to Exile, and they have to pick their spots on it. And then Bob just really good versus any deck that seeks to go past turn 6 or 7. Stoneblade, a similar story. Blitz, it's going to be one of its weaker matchups just because they have such a great potential for burst damage. And again, another Lava Dart deck. I would love to see it versus Nivtalite, similar to the Uro piles. We don't really want to be playing the 1-for-1 game, but if Bob can draw a few extra cards, it makes that almost viable. I love it versus Amulet Titan. I outlined that this is basically just a combo deck. It helps us find the additional disruption in addition to being a quick early threat. Oops All Spells, just another combo deck. Jund, we expect it to be good, barring opponents having Renin 6s. Gruul, same kind of deal. Hopefully they don't have Renin 6s. White-green, we expect it to be very strong. Against Spirits, we expect it to be very strong. Against Burn, it's terrible, obviously. But versus Tron, it's fine. And then I'm not going to go past the top 15. So I expect more than half of our expected matchups. We do want to see the Dark Confidant. So that's why I put it around a 6 or a 7 out of 10. But we'll see if I'm right with the league. So let's just go ahead and jump into that. I know I've been talking for a while. Constructed. Modern League. Jund Currents. Join. Yeah, subtle flex, right? Oh, you want a subtle, an even subtler flex. Well, bam. Regional champion. And since coronavirus, there hasn't been another regional, so I get to be regional champion for an extra, season, basically. I have yet to be dethroned. Yes, I'm still the mark. Let's see that turn 2 Bob. Let's go Blackleaf Cliffs Inquisition, turn 2 Bob. Or they revealed Luris. Alright, well, I'm not shipping this hand ever. Sounds quite good. And they revealed Luris, so it's probably Bogles or Shadow. More likely Shadow. What do you know? Alright, so they kept a 1-lander. They've got double Thoughtseize and a single threat. I should probably just take the threat. If they only had 1 Thoughtseize, I'd probably take that to defend against Tarmogoyf. But, I mean, the only real hole that I get to punch here is taking threats. They drew a Bomat Courier. Alright, they shocked their Blood Crypt. So, if I just take the turn to cast Tarmogoyf, they can dismember it. If I actually draw a fetch land and they sacrifice this Bobble, Goyf will be up to a 5/6, so a dismember will no longer kill it. Let's just see what I draw and think about it after. Alright, so I can still shock and play Overgrown Tomb. But again, they'll just use their turn to dismember it. If they draw a land and they like dismember and Thoughtseize, it's pretty problematic. I think I'm just gonna use the Fatal Push now. I mean, they've got Thoughtseize, which is kind of unfortunate. That's almost definitely what they're doing next turn. So I think I'm gonna want to be using this removal while it's still relevant. Like if I play Tarmogoyf here and then they Thoughtseize my Fatal Push and I don't have an answer to this threat, it could just run away with the game, especially because I won't have answers to further threats. So I'm leaning towards just playing Fatal Push, and then if they don't Thoughtseize me for some reason, I can then play my Tarmogoyf on the following turn. So I'm going to get the Ravine down now, and then I'll Fatal Push on their turn before they attack. I guess I could let them attack. Probably should, since their hand is actually fine. Oh, let me actually blind right now. There we go. Alright, they did draw the land. Alright, they've drawn more threats. I still think I'm inclined to kill the Bomat Courier. Definitely killing something. I don't want to be playing this 1-for-1 game and then just have them refill their hand. Like, their Thoughtseize is already dead, so let's just kill the Bomat. Alright, so here, Goyf is going to go away. We know their hand, which isn't super great. The nuts draw here would almost definitely be a Liliana of the Veil. More land, obviously not ideal. They might just Thoughtseize to get the Prowess trigger. Wow, they've drawn really well. They drew their second land and just more threats. Pretty unfortunate. We're not out of it yet. We've got things like Maelstrom Pulse that can catch us right back up. But we've drawn pretty worst case. They've drawn close to best case. They could just Mutagenic Growth as a 4 damage spell here. They probably should. Now that they know that it's good for damage now, it's not gonna get much better than itself plus 2 Prowess triggers. So I'm probably just going to take the Dismember here, which means if I get like a Tarmogoyf or something, it's actually big enough to punch through. It's actually big enough to block a Slow Spear through Mutagenic Growth. Seems like a pretty simple take. And they know my hand, they'll just yield. Alright, well, they're going to put Lurrus in their hand, it looks like. Now, even if we hit the Pulse, this Lurrus plus Bobble combo might be a little difficult. Again, I don't know why they're not just cashing in the Mutagenic Growth. That's not going to get much better. Like, maybe they're trying to save their thing from Lightning Bolt, but with their Lurrus plan and them knowing my hand has 2 lands, it just really doesn't matter. Alright, well, Kolaghan's Command means that we get back the Tarmogoyf and replay the Tarmogoyf. We can 2 damage to a Slow Spear, which means they're going to have to Mutagenic Growth now. In order to save it. If I have them discard a card, they'll just discard the Mutagenic Growth. But if I do 2 damage to a Swift Spear and force them to use it, that at least has them losing 2 more life. I mean, we're getting to a situation where we might be able to just kill them pretty soon. They are at 9. I'm going to need them to not draw additional threats. They know my hand with the exception of the Kolaghan's Command. So let's do 2 damage to a Swift Spear and get back a Tarmogoyf. So now the Mutagenic Growth, which this is probably what they've been saving it for, is a situation like this. So they're going to go to 7 to save their thing. We've got a Ravine in play, and we're about to stick a Tarmogoyf. So, I mean, they've got to be cautious. They're letting that happen? See, this is why I was saying, like, they probably should have cast a Mutagenic Growth, because it's not getting much better. Like, even here, they didn't want to use it. I mean, not using it here, like, them having one card in their hand is protecting their Lurrus from, like, a Kolaghan's Command discarding it, but Kolaghan's Command isn't usually a high-quantity card. So it seems like a corner case to play around. Like, they're probably just going to go Lurrus, replay Bobble here. Goyf is 5/6. And if we draw 1 mana removal here, we can just threaten lethal, being able to definitely have Revolt because of the Verdant. So if we draw Push, we can do it. And we've got Ravine on board. So now the nuts draw is any 1 mana removal spell. I mean, for the opponent drawing as well as they have, and us drawing as poorly as we have, again, the only thing we've drawn spell-wise is this Kolaghan's Command. I guess we drew Inquisition, but that was kind of not great. But what I was trying to say is, for as well as they've drawn and for as poorly as we've drawn, we're still in it. They're looking at our deck. Is it scary? Alright, so we know their hand is only Mutagenic Growth, but they're going to be drawing a card. 1 mana removal, please. Not good. Alright, so do we have an attack with the Ravine? Their Swift Spear is going to become a 4/5. Including the Prowess trigger, which does not outsize the Ravine. If they attack all and we try to throw the Ravine in front of the Lurrus, their +2/+2 still kills our Ravine. So I think we're just holding back. This game is definitely slipping away now that they're going to be able to replay stuff with Lurrus. They can play creatures now. Really needed it to be not a dead card. I mean, we've got a lot of really solid hits. We would love a Scavenging Ooze. We would love a Bloodbraid Elf. We would love 1 mana removal. We would love 2 mana removal. There's not a whole lot that's dead. We don't want a Dark Confidant at this stage. We don't want Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes. Just doing a bit of pre-planning. We're likely to bring in a lot of this stuff. Fatal Push, Brutalities, maybe the Bitter Blossoms all around the play. Definitely bringing in the Anger. Consideration to Cleansing Wildfires because they don't play a whole lot of basics, but it's unlikely to matter. Definitely going to bring in Spell Bombs as well. And the opponent knows our hand is crap. Is there a reason to not fetch? Is there a difference between 9 and 8? Probably. No attack. Alright, let's just not fetch. The 1 life could come up. Come on, deck. Alright, well that's not so good. Especially because they've got Lurrus in play, so an Edict is effectively nothing. I mean, I guess it's going to turn into a plus. The issue is if I'm plussing, Ravine is no longer a viable blocker. I mean, getting something out of their hand probably good enough. Needed that Liliana like 4 turns ago. Seal of Fire? That sucks. For me. Very clearly a no attack. So they have Mutagenic Growth in hand. They've got Seal of Fire in their yard. It's a prowess trigger. That's seal. So if I block Luris, I'm just dead. Was this his? Alright, so they're not casting seal. Alright, so I'm dead to the Mutagenic Growth, I believe. Because it's worth 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, that puts me to 1. I'm dead to an additional spell for sure. Bolt. They had a bolt. Alright. So yeah, again, I think they drew pretty above average and we drew pretty well below average. But let's see if we can flip it. Alright, Anger, Fatal Push. Let's bring in these for sure. And these are the things I'm thinking about. If I'm bringing in Bitter Blossom, I think I'm definitely taking him out on the draw. Run in 6 kills, actual nothing. On the play, I like some number of Bobs. Even if they are playing Lava Dart. Thoughtseize tends to be worse than most other things. Yeah, maybe I'm just not bringing in the Bitter Blossom. That does seem kind of aggro. Besides me needing 1 cut. Things like Inquisition are pretty terrible in the top deck lore, but I think they're pretty important early. Thinking about this Kolaghan's command. I mean, in the event the game goes to an attrition war, like the last one kind of did, they just had the Luris, which made him come out on top. The Kolaghan's command can have some good use. Don't think I'm cutting another Bob. I could definitely see it just being a Cling. Like, they're not so graveyard-centric. But it's definitely got its spots. Let's give that a go. Missing a color, but the hand is otherwise quite good. Think I'm going to keep. We've got a painless mana base right now. You've got a lot of our better cards. And then a green source makes this hand pretty great. I expect Liliana or Collective Brutality to be taken here. I can't actually cast Tarmogoyf yet, so I don't think that would be a super good choice. It's probably just Liliana. It's got the potential for the highest up. It's got the highest ceiling from our side. Brutality is just usually a simple removal spell. Yep, as expected. Green source. 1 mana removal. Could have been worse. Alright, so I don't even think I'm going to escalate this brutality. Maybe I should just hold it as a removal spell. So I mean, it's not really ever going to be used just to drain life. I think it's either going to be used as removal or as a way to take an instant or a sorcery. I think I should probably just fire it off to take an instant or a sorcery. I really want to use my mana. And the next turn, if I draw Green Source, I can Goyf plus Bolt, ideally. And then the following turn, Bloodbraid. The nightmare is that this bricks. Alright, it didn't. Ooh, they're playing white cards in the sideboard. Well, I mean, Path to Exile is what gets rid of my Tarmogoyf, so I'll take that. Come on, untap green. Untapped green. Perfect. Alright, so now we get to go forest. It's the untapped green. Play my Tarmogoyf, which is going to be relatively large. And say go. There's a consideration of bolting before this thing gets another card under it, but I think if they want to trade their hand for 2 random cards, that's pretty fine. They're probably just not going to attack as well. Adding artifact will grow the Goyf as well. Is our luck turning? Looks like it so far. They don't know about the bolts, but they do know about these two. Via their turn 1 Thoughtseize. Alright, they put Luris in their hands, sure. And they are at 11. I think that's low enough such that I should just bolt this Bomat Courier, untap and cast Bloodbraid. It gets a little unfortunate if the Bloodbraid hits a removal spell. But honestly, that's fine, right? Like, they're kind of priced into blocking as is. Like, if I just untap and Bloodbraid Elf, and like let's say they block the Goyf, take 3 going to 8. They have an empty board versus a Bloodbraid and a Goyf, and I've got a Bolt in hand. Like, they could obviously draw another Thoughtseize, but that has them losing 2 more life. I think I'm just gonna untap and then hope the Bloodbraid hits removal. Like, if we hit Liliana, terminate, fatal push, just another lightning bolt, like, it's all good for us. I'll just untap. I think the upside of having the bolt left over is too high. There's the fatal push. Perfect. It even adds a type for the Goyf. Knock you low. Now our bolt is looking real good. Loris in the Bomat. Probably. Like, let's just bolt them. Bolting them is more insulting, right? Alright, so on the draw, I do think things change a little bit. Bob is worse on the draw. I'm thinking about, like, they are playing Bomat Courier, which is something I didn't factor in originally. Renin 6 does kill Bomat Courier, but it still doesn't kill much of anything else. I think maybe like this other Cling to Dust might be better than a Bob just because of how quick they are and we're on the draw. So maybe I'm just playing one Dark Confidant. I think the first card out of my current 60 is Dark Confidant, but I'm not sure that there's something I would want to bring it in over. It's possible Renin 6 is just better. But I do like the Dark Confidant, helps me find removal and just more threats. I think it's a coin toss. If they've got specifically the Bomat Courier draw, then the Renin 6 will be better. But if they've got any other creature draw, I'm going to want the Bobs. Especially versus things like Shadow and Scourge of the Skyclaves. Let's do this. Sounds very good. Mana's a little bit more painful than I would like, but the spells don't get much better. And it's semi-redundant versus Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes. Like, we've got 2 1-mana threats and 2 ways to kill stuff. And like if they take my 1-mana way to kill stuff, that does leave a gap in my curve, but Liliana tends to be very powerful versus them. They're to 5 cards here. It's looking up, but we're not out of the woods. Oof, Thoughtseize, yep. I mean, they're down to 2, plus 1 card up to 3 already. I'm not even sure what they're supposed to take here. With their hands so small already, it's possible they just take a Goyf because they may not have a steady stream of answers to my threats. Like they probably have more threats than they do answers. And then they probably should have sacked this in my upkeep, because if I draw Inquisition, then I have access to the card that they're drawing. All right, so let's plan the mana here. So I want to be able to have all 3 colors by turn 3. If I get Blood Crypt with my first land, on turn 2 I can fetch Basic Forest and play my Tarmogoyf, but that sets up the rest of my hand awkwardly if I draw more red and black spells and I don't cast these early. So I think if I'm getting a basic, I want it to be a swamp, which means that I probably want to get Stomping Ground at some point early. But Stomping Ground means that I have to Fatal Push. So I think I'm more likely to want to get Swamp than Forest, which means I'm going to not play the land that gets Swamp. I'm going to play the one that gets only the Forest. And then I can Fetch Shock this to get pretty much whatever I want. Alright, so let's get Stomping Ground. And then between Stomping Ground, Basic, Swamp, and Overgrown Tomb, my mana should be pretty perfect. Ooze a nice pickup. So if they've got Dismember, Dismember actually will not take care of the Tarmogoyf because there is yet to be an instant in the yard. Fatal Push still viable. And on their turn 1 Thoughtseize, they did elect to leave me with 2 Tarmogoyfs, so it's possible that they already know that they've got access to a couple answers, or at least one. Wouldn't at all be surprised to have this get pushed immediately. Okay. Maybe it's a Dismember then. In which case I'm probably playing second Tarmogoyf before I'm playing Scavenging Ooze, because I'm not just going to give them a threat that they can kill when I can just give them another Tarmogoyf instead. Got some shadows. Maybe a Scourge or 2. Oh, just putting Luris in the hands. I mean, the opponent does have Mishra's Bauble already in the yard, so they get to get some immediate value. Alright, well that was kind of nutty. So now we get to Inquisition them and just deploy second Tarmogoyf, and this game should be pretty much over. So I think I actually want to just take a non-Luris card here, because like if they tap out for Luris, I could just use a spot removal spell on it and kill them. So Luris actually looking the least menacing. If they go Path to Exile, play Death Shadow, I could be in a cute spot. But I mean, it kind of seems like there's no wrong take here. I mean, hitting them for 5 and leaving them with the Shadow means that they're going to have an 8/8. But I've got the push for it. The nightmare scenario, though, would be like they draw Inquisition or Thoughtseize and then stick the Shadow, and then I can no longer have a Fatal Push to deal with it. So for that reason, I'm thinking about taking either Death Shadow or Path to Exile. It's probably just Path. They have to achieve too much. Like even if they play an 8/8 Shadow, they're dead on board to the 2 Goyfs, and then I've just got backup threat and 2 ways to remove stuff. So I'm liking just taking the Path here. All right, then we'll shock this. Say yes. Play another Thickums. Yeah, I don't know that there was a wrong answer there. I think Luris is actually the wrong answer there, because like that's the easiest route that we have to just kill them. Like even if they draw Fetch Land here and they go Luris plus Bauble plus Shadow, we still just get to kill them. Yep. Why you no let me edit? There we go. Pretty clear mulligan, unfortunately. I mean, I've got 2 things that I can do with a single mana, but lacking a Dark Confidant and the Renin 6 means that even if I hit second land, I'm not guaranteed a stream of lands to hit my 3-drop and my 4-drop. I think unfortunately I'm going to 5 here. Well, there's not much I can do about this. Yeah? So I'm putting 3 cards on the bottom? I mean... Inquisition into Goyf. That's a way to win. It's gonna be hard on 4 cards, though. Oh, it's oops all spells? Alright, well, Palaka Predation not actually going to be very good as far as its spell half goes. Aghanim's Awakening just a land. I guess I'm taking the Undercity Informer. I mean, these 4 cards are going to give me a shot to win. They played the Palaka... Go. Prism. Just cast Narc Amoeba, alright. So now this would be an excellent spot for a Dark Confidant. Nope. I'll still play the Blackleaf Cliff, so I have 4th land untapped if my draw step is Bloodbreed. Pretty anemic right now, though. They've already got the Spy as well, so they really just need another land drop, and they got me. You know they've got the lands as well. Alright, well now they don't even need the lands that we know they have. Gonna need a Thoughtseize here to take the Balustrade Spy. Kolagon's Command? I don't think that's gonna be good enough. They still get to just play the Spy next turn. I just really don't think this matters, but I get to see their deck if they're doing anything cool. Playing Leyline of Sanctity in the main. Alright. So they're going to get to bring back their Swords of the Meek, I'm assuming. Yep, Swords of the Meek. They'll then exile their artifacts to get back the artifact creature, which I can't remember the name of, right? They might just have it in their hand because I'm not seeing it here. But I mean, having it in their hand works too. Now they just sacrifice 3 swords. There it is, yeah. Alright, so the Vengevines kill us by a lot. So I'm not sure if Damping Sphere is going to be good here. I mean, the turn that they combo, they have to cast Salvage Titan. So it necessitates 1 extra mana. We definitely want the spell bombs. We can get rid of all the Vengevines with the stuff on the stack. Spot removal not going to be good at all. Let's get rid of all that. I don't know that Ashiok's going to be very good. Like it can exile their only win con, but that hardly seems like a reason to play it. Cleansing Wildfire is just Stone Rain, isn't it? Stone Rain, draw a card for 2 mana. They play no basics. They play no lands. Collective Brutality isn't going to take their creatures, which are their payoffs, or I guess their enablers and their payoffs. Alright, let's sort by converted mana cost. Where are we right now? 59? I mean, I don't think Abrupt Decay is going to do anything. They're not playing any fetches or search effects, so like Ashiok is not going to be great. I mean, the only reason Ashiok would be good would be to maybe snipe the win con out of their deck, but even then they bring in Charbelcher as a way to get around that. I mean, Bitter Blossom is just another threat, which could be our 60th card. I think it's probably better than just a random Ashiok in hopes of spiking their win con when they're probably bringing in more anyway. Yeah, we can give this a go. I mean, I see an argument for Damping Sphere just because it needs them to have 1 more mana, but they based on the deck that we saw, they're not the ritual version trying to turbo out a Charbelcher. We got a Bob. We got a Goyf. And if they go the route of the Salvage Titan, we can cling to dust in response to them trying to return it from their yard. If they've got it in their hand, then not much we can do about it. This hand's also pretty resistant to Leyline of Sanctity, which they don't have. So let's see if we can leverage the power of Dark Confidant against the combo deck. Inquisition, a pretty nice pickup, but I'm definitely just going to stick the Bob here and get the cards flowing. So next turn we can Inquisition plus Tarmogoyf, attack for 2. Unless something that the Bob reveals changes that. Talisman, yep. Nice, additional threats. Don't really care about my life total. If they're killing me here, they're killing me by all of it. They've got 2 Undercity Informers. I mean, I could take the Agadeem's Awakening. That's their land. They won't actually be able to combo next turn. If I take their Agadeem's Awakening and they Undercity Informer, I don't have a way of killing it either, though. I mean, it's redundant, though. I think I'm just going to take their lands. I mean, they've got the Amiria's Call anyway. Yeah, I'll just take an Informer. Like, they've got the land no matter what. So now I think I actually need to just hold up the Cling to Dust instead of playing this Goyf. Because if they mill the Salvage Titan, I need to be able to snipe it in response to them trying to get it back, which will prevent the Vengevines from coming back too. So I'm probably going to have to face some number of creeping chills. Oh, they're actually not going for it now. Interesting. I guess they still could. Maybe that was their F6 check. So in response to them trying to get back the creature, I'll cling it. Alright, they did bring in Charbelcher. So this is going to put me all the way down to 4. Pretty rough. Where even is this stupid thing? There it is, Salvage Titan. This only works if they've got 1. Which it looks like they have. Let me read this to double check. Yeah, so it is an ability that they put on the stack. Funny enough, even if they don't go for it, I still have to deal with these Narcomoebas. I can escape. I can't even escape because I don't have enough cards in my yard. I mean, getting rid of the Salvage Titan is gonna give me some life. All right, where's the Salvage Titan? They've highlighted it for me. That's nice. And they get to just do it again, right? Oh, no, they can't. Because it's only from their yard, not from their hand. But they get to do it again anyway. They have more artifacts, yep. Only 3 more, too. That's kind of funny. So now I die anyway. Right? Pretty sure I just die anyway. Yeah, because then this goes back to their hand. Yeah. OBS just updated and now it doesn't give me the option to edit my text anymore. At least not immediately. So I'm trying to change the record indicator, but for whatever reason it's not letting me. There it goes. Pretty good on die rolls. Yeah. More lands than last time. It's actually a pretty strange decision as to if I should be shocking to hold up the Fatal Push. If I want to use the Fatal Push, it's going to look pretty silly. Because like then I can't Goyfom too. The opponent is mulliganing to 5 here. Yeah, I'll shock. This is kind of a tell pretty much immediately, but against an opponent that mulliganed to 5, it's probably like Tron or something. Yeah, and they don't even have the map for me to decay it. Darn. There's the Inquisition. Alright, well, let's just get the Glyph down. I can always Inquisition next turn. I think it's probably beneficial to get the pressure down. Like, assuming they're regular Tron, there's not really anything that they could do right here that they couldn't have, that they didn't already do. Stand corrected. Like, I can decay that, but that doesn't seem very profitable. Land is pretty good, though, because now I get to Liliana. And against an opponent that already mulliganed so aggressively, that seems pretty great. And then I'll do all this first, so hopefully I get to attack with the Glyph that isn't a 0-1. This is an easy Blood Crypt, second black for Liliana, and first red. None of this matters if they have natural Tron in the payoff. And they're playing Tron. I'll discard push. It doesn't do anything. They could still be Eldrazi Tron, in which case push would be fine, but so would these other cards. If they're Eldrazi Tron, I would want this push more than this Inquisition. In fact, it's pretty possible that this Inquisition no longer does anything, but I still think I'm just going to ditch the push. Inquisition's going to be fine for information, even if it does hit nothing. Ideally, I just hit another land anyway and I get to Bloodbraid. If they're E-Tron, barring exactly Reality Smasher, Liliana can Edict whatever is in play. But they mulligan kind of aggressively and are playing main board Relic, so my guess would be regular Tron, and then Fatal Push is just not a card. Drag Tusk. Yeah, this is regular Tron. You're gonna let me hit you for 2, or you want to pop this relic now? Pop it now. I won't send a message. Message is not very threatening. Tron? Hey, we dodged it. Darn. Alright, well, they got it next turn. Not great. Alright, well, I guess I'll Inquisition first. Because if I'm going to plus, I don't want them to discard my possible only target. Alright, and they searched for mine. Now we get to plus. What am I discarding here? It's possible I'm going to need the Decay to kill whatever this Karn gets, and I'm going to need the Bloodbraid for additional pressure, so I'll ditch the Cling. Alright, all things considered, this could be going worse, but the opponent is going to have Tron assembled. So we're going to need to dodge something large. I mean, they get to Karn plus get something that costs up to 4 and play it immediately. I mean, if they just go Karn, get bridge, I can decay the bridge and keep chugging along. I mean, one of the better ways that Jund can beat Tron is have them mulligan to 5 or less, than have a turn 3 Liliana on the play. Even better. Well, the last card being Karn is going to be pretty difficult. They should probably just exile the Goyf, I guess. Like, we know their other hand isn't Dismember or something. If they minus on anything but the Goyf, we get to just attack the Karn. Alright. Alright, well that doesn't do anything, unfortunately. There's already sorcery in the yard, too. Alright, I guess we're just going to attack Karn. Alright, so now they can Karn something up to a 5 CMC. I mean, if they want their Karn to live, this would have to be the bridge. Like, if they get something huge, that huge thing doesn't necessarily get through Glyph. Like, they could get Worm Coil here and just let their Karn die, and then they know that I have to get through a Worm Coil, which on its own is going to be really difficult. So I would expect either a Worm Coil or a bridge here. I'm more scared of the Worm Coil. They got the bridge. Alright, well, it looks like my decision to switch a Terminate for 1 Decay is actually going to be coming in handy. So, untapped land? Nope. Alright, so now we need to dodge payoffs. Untapped land there would have been really nice, just because we could attack the Karn with the Blood Braid, and then Glyph could have gone at the opponent. Alright, so the ideal scenario here is just more pressure. I would love to be able to get them dead between this turn and next turn. Liliana, not the worst. Alright, so we've got the opponent within striking distance. If we can dodge a payoff this turn, I think we got it. Nice. Alright, Tron Menace. Ashiok. Damping Sphere. Cleansing Wildfire. All of the spot removal can come out, except for Bolt. Bolt's can at least go to face. So there's another matchup where Dark Confidant should shine. I think I'm gonna run this. There's a argument to playing Collector Brutality because it takes Sylvan Scrying, but while the opponent is on the play, there's not even a guarantee we get to take that. It's most likely going to be just like a bad burn spell, kind of like how Bolt is. Let's just play this. I think there's a consideration to not playing Renin 6. Like I could just play Grizzly Bear over it. Honestly, I just want things that attack. But I mean, I have uses for extra lands. Like double spelling is pretty important, and working up to Blood Braid is also pretty important. They have kept a 7. As tempting as this hand is, I think I need to ship it in hopes of finding Damping Sphere or a Cleansing Wildfire. Like, this hand is pretty acceptable, but if they've got Tron on 3, I don't think I can ever win. I mean, it's got 2 Bobs and we've got 2 lands. I think it's missing what we need. I mean, this is slightly better. I think I'll just ditch another Inquisition. May want the Kolaghan Skim in to kill an artifact. Like Ashiok could come up big. Fingers crossed time. Alright, well, I mean, if their route to Tron is a single copy of Sylvan Scrying, we can disrupt it here. They've got 1 copy of Ancient Stirrings. They've got Mine, Tower from Power Plant. They have the natural Tron. Alright, well. They've also got Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Yikes. The 7 card nuts. Gonna really need to find not the Alpine Moon, the Damping Sphere, or the whatchamacallit, the Cleansing Wildfire. Alright, well, we know our bottom card is neither of those. So our odds of drawing it are higher if we don't shuffle. They get to dismember this. Unfortunate, but happens. At least it's not on Goif or Bob. There's your Tron. Did you draw a 7-mana payoff? You did. Oof. Alright, and that's the game. Yeah, that first hand was not going to do much better. Don't think much changes now that I'm on the play. I think I'm just gonna resubmit. I mean, these Ren and 6s do feel pretty awful. I mean, I'm on the play. I did mention that Brutality can at least take Sylvan Scrying on the front foot. Still pretty bad on the back foot, though. Let's just resubmit. We've got double Goif, but no meaningful interaction. Mulligan. Oh my god. Man, one more land makes this hand absolutely nuts. We've got nothing to do otherwise. Ship it. The opponent also on 5 so far. I think we can do better on 4. I mean, if we can spike the land and the route to Tron is map, then we've got the decay, but we have to spike it. I mean, even then, we've got double hand disruption. I think I'm gonna keep. It's possible that decay just isn't gonna be good enough. Like, it's like if they have the map, I'm definitely keeping the Inquisitions and the Thoughtseizes. I think I really want to keep both of these spells. Definitely the land. Definitely the Tarmogoyf. Which means I'm bottoming 2 of these 3. I mean, I've got the fetch guaranteed, so this Ren and 6 is going to be pretty strong, assuming I find the land. So I think it's between Decay and Pulse. Pulse hits a much wider array of things. I mean, again, if they're out to Tron as map, I have a way to deal with it. I think I'll ditch a Decay and the Pulse. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep the Ren and 6. And cross my fingers. So I'll get Overgrown Tomb. This way, if I draw one of my basics, I can still play the Goyf no matter what. Like, I can't get Stomping Ground because then I'm not Inquisition or Thought Seizing on 1. So the opponent is on 5. Is there a reason to Inquisition over Thoughtseize or vice versa? I mean, Thoughtseize can obviously take their bigger stuff, but if I Inquisition and Brick, it's going to feel really bad. Well, let's just lead on the Inquisition. They've got 1 Tron land and a Stirrings. I'll take the Stirrings. They've got Forest, which casts it. Alright, and then our next draw step is going to be really, really big. Okay, we hit it. That's really important. Alright, so there's those Power Plant, and there goes the Sphere. Alright, so how do we play it from here? I think I'm just going to be getting down my pressure. I really think I need to get under them as quickly as I can. My life total just straight doesn't matter. Alright, we're doing the thing. Would love to see no Tron land here. Alright, well, also no Tron land. We're gonna get to Thoughtseize. At a minimum, we know we're taking something. Alright, so I get to run in 6, get back something, use that something to get a swamp. Please, no Veil of Summer. Alright, no Veil of Summer, cool. I don't think I can beat this Worm Coil. I mean, if they spike a Tron land, the turn right after, they're going to have access to the Tron land. They're going to have access to the Tron, which means they can All Is Dust me. Or O-Stone me. I mean, both All Is Dust and O-Stone kind of achieve the same purpose. So I think I'm just going to take the Worm Coil. It's going to be the hardest to beat, assuming they stick it. Alright. Let's see if we can dodge a Tron land off the top. That was good. Do I want to start going down with the Ren and 6 and just use the land in my hand? Goyf is a 5/6 now? 4/5? I'm hitting them for 7. And then a ping now means I'm hitting them for a total of 8, which means they are dead next turn if I can avoid the Tron. Yeah, I think I'm going to take it down here. Definitely going to do it first in case I hit another Ren and 6. Damn it. Well, I'm not using that. Alright, so if they hit the Tron, and like them fetching for a Tron land on their last turn is probably indicating that they have the other one, just because they would know which of the two to search for. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just played the mine. But if they don't have the mine, we get to kill them. Don't slow roll me, Tron opponent. Yay! We beat Tron! Alright, and again, it's being iffy about me editing my record, so I'll do it as soon as it lets me. Come on. There we go. Ooh, this hand's good. We're missing pressure, but otherwise this hand's quite strong. The opponent has mulliganed at least once. I would love to see humans or something with this hand. Ketria Triome. Okay, so probably not humans. Probably some Uro pile. There's the pressure we were missing. So this hand is looking mighty fine now. We bricked. Alright, so I take that back. So now we've effectively mulligans, plus the information that the opponent's hand isn't all too stellar. But I mean, we may be able to cast this Liliana under their cryptic command, which is going to be nice. Hopefully they haven't found a bolt. Bolt would be brutal. Damn it. I mean, I'm not going to play around the one card I don't know about. You got an Uro too? Wow. I mean, they can't actually cast either of their spells with the lands that we know about. Wow. What a tilt. Alright, Liliana, go to work. I may want to Edict with the Liliana and then immediately replay a Liliana, so I think I'm keeping one in my hand. And I'm going to have to really pressure him quickly, because this Field of the Dead is going to give me the hands. Alright, well now I think I'll just discard the Lightning Bolt. So I do want to get 4th land down to turn on stuff like Bloodbraid. And also Ravine is a mode of pressure. We got an Omnath, alright. I mean, if we could ultimate them somehow, that would be a way to win. Alright, well now they've got Cryptic available though, so looking less likely. That takes care of Uro. So let's plus and then see what they do. I guess now I can probably ditch Redundant Liliana. I think Pulse is going to be too important, and I also really want to be able to cling the Uro. I could escape, but I'm not actually going to have enough cards in my yard to be able to escape, so I think I need to just pitch the Liliana now. They discarded a Mana Leak, so their card is Cryptic. So I'm going to have to do this in response to the fetch. Like, they might just Cryptic to bounce the Liliana right now before I can ultimate. Alright, now let's do this now. They can still Cryptic. I'm still going to have a hard time beating this Field of the Dead. They just have to draw lands, and I don't think I can win. Just bounce, draw. Yep. Yep. I mean, I've got a one-time answer. Jeez. I've got a one-time answer to all the zombies, but it's not going to be good for long. I can't escape my Cling. I'm short on mana. Okay. I mean, I guess I can see what it hits. Like, no matter what, they're going to be able to get 4 zombies next turn. Just off of the lands that we know about. If this doesn't hit something really impressive, I can just scoop it up here. That's not very impressive. Very dead. Very, very, very dead. I mean, I think I got pretty unlucky there. Like, even down to like my turn 2, the one card I didn't know about was exactly Lightning Bolt. And then like the lands that they did draw were Field of the Dead, plus unique stuff. All pretty unfortunate. I mean, they did miss a land for a turn. And then I'm gonna take out anything that would entice the opponent to play a 1-for-1 game. So gonna take out the Decay. Gonna take out some number of Hand Disruption. I like the Thoughtseizes more than the Inquisitions because they take stuff like Omnath and Cryptic Command. Collective Brutality can take at least the Cryptic Command, and if they're playing stuff like Factor Fiction, that too. Golgon's Command isn't really going to be killing a whole lot. They are playing Ren and 6 as well, but I don't think that's reason enough to take out Bob. Bob is going to be really good here. Only got to play a Bob once so far. Jeez. Nope. Wow. This is like my 8th mulligan. Maybe more. Yeah, keep this. I mean, I think I want to guarantee I get to play this Liliana, which means I'm going to ditch Brutality. Definitely want to do this now to get under Veil of Summer. Force? I guess so. Alright, I'm going to go for this Liliana on 3 and hopefully he doesn't get mana leaked. If they mana leak the Liliana, I'm gonna be less than 10% to win. I think I'm pretty unlikely to want to fetch basic Mountain. So that makes Verdant Catacombs the better fetch, which means I'll use that one later if I plan on shocking now anyway. Also, if this resolves, I'm just discarding the fetch anyway. But if it doesn't resolve, then I get to just ditch it. It's possible I should just be keeping the lands. It does a couple things. One, it lets me get to Ravine faster. And it also helps me empty my hand faster, which means that I can get Liliana to be asymmetric faster. Please no run in 6. God. Well, looks like Liliana wasn't going to be asymmetric anyway. If I draw a burn spell, I can combo kill it. No, but Goyf is next best. Then I'll bolt this, so if my Goyf gets to attack it, I can hopefully kill it in one hit. Is it Omnath time? Jeez, it's a Jace. Bounce my Goyf. Yep. Bitter Blossom, not a bad one. It might just get forced, but I mean, I guess I'll plus first. I mean, we're at ultimate range. They're gonna need a way to prevent the Liliana from ultimating. They do have that in the Ren and 6 already. Ditching Goyf is a little risky because Bitter Blossom doesn't actually get to attack a walker immediately. But I think long term it's my best way to deal with this crap. Because like if they just have any path or they even just minus the Jace again, I'm just falling more behind. This at least is harder to interact with. I mean, the second this goes uncontested for more than a turn, I automatically feel like I'm dead. Yep, they're gonna put Veil in their hand, and they're gonna zero a Jace, and that's gonna defend them versus ultimate. I mean, I guess I'm going to keep plussing it, but this is a lot to overcome. Oro on top of it all? Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty dead. I'll play it another turn or two. Bob's a good one. They do get to just shoot it with the Ren and 6, though. Cycle of Veil? What is this? Cycle, okay. What's up, KO Diamonds? Thanks for the raid. We're currently getting the hands given to us by one of our worst matchups. Soon to be 2-2 as soon as this Jace is done with us. But we've got a Bitter Blossom. That's giving us some hope. You lost to the Blue Soup, yeah. My other loss this league has been to the Oops All Spells deck. I've also mulliganed it abnormally high number of times. I think I've gone to 4 twice already, just off of not finding a hand with more than one land in it. You lost to that thing too? Yeah. You gotta like have an Inquisition or Thoughtseize timed really well. And then sometimes they just have a backup anyway. Feels pretty bad. Alright, I think I'm done here. Think I'm done here. But yeah, we beat Rakdos Shadow in round 1, and then we beat Tron in round 3. We got a mosquito in here. Die. Got it. Yeah, let's go first. All of my hands have been like this, or like just like they're close, but they revealed Luris. If we draw a green source, this hand is so good. Liliana tends to be really good versus them. They could Inquisition or Thoughtseize me though, which also makes this hand awkward. This is so close, but I think I'm leaning towards mulligan. Like we've got only both to do on one. We've got second land though. This is so close. I think I'm gonna keep it. Here's why. It's kind of Inquisition or Thoughtseize proof. Like our hand's pretty redundant. Liliana's pretty powerful, and any other land turns on the Lilianas. If we draw a green source, this hand's fantastic. Oh, it's burn. Alright, well, Sand's fine versus burn, assuming we find that green. I mean, even if we did find the green, I'm not deploying Goyf now. We'd just get killed. Green source. Not exactly. Got the Eidolon. Yep. Zap. So not really, I would love any untapped land, but green source would be the best. Alright, how about another Liliana? All day. Jeez. You want to give me a land? Please? Alright, well, at least it's a bolt. Show me that skewer. It's another rift bolt. Yeah, I mean, yeah, versus Burn, I'm pretty sure we win this game in a landslide if we hit the green source on time. As is, though, it's going to be real difficult. Alright. Found the Bob, finally. When we're playing against Bird. Oof. Alright, so, Brutality is going to be excellent, clearly. I think I'm going to want the extra Fatal Push as well. Thoughtseize comes out. Dark Confidant comes out. I need one more in. I mean, Thoughtseize is going to gain a life on average. Anger might be good for multi-for-winning, though. They're playing Luris as well, so it might not even be super crazy to just play the Anger as a removal spell. Yeah, I like it. Oh, I didn't see your question about the Howl's Bitter Blossom. It's been very, very good. You like Anger here as well, Ed? Glad you agree. But yeah, the Bitter Blossom has been quite good. How about this hand, though? This is probably on the low end of keep. I mean, we don't have a Painless red source on turn 1, so we can't bolt anything early, but Goyf is one of our better threats, and we've got a backup removal spell. I'm inclined to keep. And I think I'm just going to play Ravine on 1. So that way I can painlessly bolt on 2. Like, if I don't play Tarmogoyf on turn 2, it's not super tragic. That involves me losing a lot of life anyway. You want to give me a land? You want to give me a land? Blackleaf Cliffs? Tarmogoyf. Alright, well, another Tarmogoyf is good too. They'll use the Verdant and their Goblin Guide to kind of scry one. Definitely shooting this thing with the Lightning Bolt. If they Eidolon pre-combat, I'm definitely just going to do it in response. There's actually, I guess, even an argument here to fetching basic Swamp and using the Abrupt Decay, because then next turn I could fetch basic Forest and then go Goyf and have a Lightning Bolt available. Kind of like it. Alright, we hit a land. Nice. Alright, so yeah, I think I will go with the Decay. For mana efficiency's sake. I am going to want second Black Source at some point. But I don't actually need it anytime soon. The downside to using Decay now could be that if they play like Shrine of Burning Range or something ridiculous, then I'm short an answer to it. But I like doing this for purposes of being able to double spell next turn if I want to. Firewalker. Alright, that's going to be pretty annoying. I mean, not really even, right? Alright, well there's our second black. So if I fetch basic Forest now, I can hold the Lightning Bolt up for free. But I mean, there's not much that I'm going to be needing to Lightning Bolt anyway. Especially with a Goyf in play. I mean, I guess if they have like Path to Exile plus a creature that's trying to get through, then I'm going to really wish I had played the Goyf and held up the Bolt. So I'll leave up the Bolt by getting Forest now. And then like these Shocklands can just come in tapped on future turns. Definitely want to get something in front of this core Firewalker. Don't care a whole lot about them gaining a few points. This is pretty interesting to bring in. I don't think I've seen a whole lot of people bring in core Firewalker versus Jund. Like, it doesn't die to Bolt, Terminate, or Kolaghan's Command, but those cards tend to be saved for other threats. And like, this thing never gets by a Tarmogoyf. Another one? Okay. Gain 2. Sure. That is fine. So it's possible I should just not even kill this now, because I could induce an alpha strike, in which case I may be able to just throw in get a bunch of profitable blocks in. And my next turn's mana is kind of not tied up yet. I'm definitely gonna play a Goyf, but I'm gonna have extra mana after that anyway. So I kind of like not bolting here. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna bolt. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this Overgrown Tomb tapped. And then just play another Goyf and hold up Bolt again. If I draw Liliana, I'm going to want the Overgrown Tomb tapped. But if I draw another red spell and I want to double spell with red, then I'm going to wish I had gotten the Stomping Ground tapped. So it's kind of marginal as to which I want to put in. But I guess I get another draw step before I have to decide. Alright, so another Overgrown Tomb. Alright, I think I'm just going to get in the Stomping Ground. Worst case, if I really want to cast a Liliana, I can always just cast it off of a Peatland, which net saves me 1 life, and if I were instead of as compared to going the other route. So let's cast Tarmogoyf, and then Stomping Ground tapped. And I don't think we're in the attack mode quite yet, but we might be soon. We've got Ravine as well, which is another reason to get the Stomping Ground in. Still don't think I want to just bolt the Swift Spear. I mean, the opponent just having creatures in general is making this interesting. But I mean, I'm still at 16 and I'm going on to my turn 5, so that's something good to be said. Inquisition's a good one. Alright, I'm just going to lead there. Please, no Veil of Summer. Something tells me they won't have it. And before Metamorphose, the eternal meme. Boros Charm. 4 damage to a creature, or to a player or planeswalker? Well, I guess they're targeting me, huh? Hopefully I get to take something. Like, if they just bolt me on top of this and then I see another land, it's kind of stupid. Alright, well, they have just 2 lands, so that's some good news. So now the question is, do I want to put in a Nurturing Peatland, or I just want to get the Overgrown Tomb in? I think I'm inclined to get the Overgrown Tomb in. With the Raging Ravine, there's a pretty high likelihood I'm going to want to have my mana anyway. I mean, the upside to playing Peatland would be that I get to activate it pretty much immediately. I mean, Ravine's not blocking core Firewalkers, though. I could just bolt now that I know that they don't have anything to prowess trigger it past. I'll just bolt it now. Because this might actually even open up an attack. Yeah, bolt this now. Gain 2, yeah, sure. Yield. So an attack with a single Tarmogoyf means that they can't just double block to kill it. And I don't think they're wanting to attack with their core Firewalkers, because then I just get to munch on one of them. So I think I'm going to attack with a single Tarmogoyf here. I mean, they're going to get to put Lurrus in their hand pretty soon. So I'm going to have to be wary of that. They can't put the Lurrus into their hand and cast it, though, so I think this attack is good. And I don't think I'm ever going to be playing second copy of Overgrown Tomb, because if I draw Brutality, I think I'm going to want to be escalating. And then I probably should have just attacked first. Because if they try to line up a block with everything, I could then kill the Swift Spear in combat. I doubt they're blocking with the Swift Spear alone, though. So, I mean, I definitely should have sequenced that better. But I think the outcome is going to be mostly the same. But the opponent says I have to go. I'm sorry. GG's. GG's? I guess they're just gone. I guess that means we win the match. Okay. I guess. Alright, so I'll do a quick deck tech for purposes of the recording. Alright, so the thought experiment in this particular league was Dark Confidant. Yeah, I guess, right? We only ever got to cast Dark Confidant once. And it was actually pretty decent. It was versus the Oops All Spells game. Versus Oops All Spells opponent. It wasn't enough, unfortunately, because it was about the only thing we had going for us. It was like it and a single Cling to Dust, and that wasn't enough. But I think that was a game where we had mulligan to 5. So I mean, I was behind from the beginning. But I mean, yeah, I mean the Abrupt Decay actually did come in pretty big. We were able to kill an expedition map out of Tron, which was nice. So that was kind of lucky there. I still like the split of the 3 fatal pushes versus the 3 bolts. The clings have still been pretty great. I think I've seen Bloodbraid still about as much as I would like to, but again, it's only 1 league. It's not a very big sample size. The sideboard was mostly good. I think I sideboarded in just about everything at least once. And then when I did find sideboard cards, they did their job. So I still like the sideboard as is, at least for now. But other than that, it feels really solid. I'm definitely gonna have to play another league or two with Dark Confidant to really prove that it's positioned well, I guess. But I think it is. It's definitely at least better than it has been in the past. Is it Prowess is kind of on the downtick, and that's definitely one of the nightmare matchups for the Dark Confidant just because of how fast they are. And Lava Dart is so good against Dark Confidant. But there's also lots of Ren and 6 running on right now. There's a lot of Jund. There's also a lot of 4-color, 5-color Omnath, 5-color Niv Mizzet, and all of those decks usually play multiple copies of Ren and 6. And Dark Confidant is the kind of card that you want versus those decks. So them having such a great answer to it feels pretty bad. That said, though, if they don't have the answer and they don't just have it, Bob can kind of take over and hopefully get there essentially on its own. Like, obviously, it never wins the game by itself because what wins the game are the cards that the Bob gets you. So in a way, it is the card that's winning you the game. But it just acts like it just seems like the rest of your deck is getting you there, when in reality, it's probably just the Bob. So yeah, I really just got to play another league and test it out. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this recording. If you're watching currently on Twitch and you want to see all my pre-recorded videos, they're all on my YouTube channel. You can see the name of my YouTube channel on the bottom of your current screen. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to catch my streaming sessions live, you can do so on Twitch, and you can find the link to that Twitch account also on the bottom of your current screen. So with that said, have a good night.